Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Play Kerbal Space Program, Episode 5 of our first contract series. That's the series for version 0.24, where we now have to worry about funds by completing contract, and all of our rocket parts now cost a little bit of something. In our previous mission, I will go to our little tracking station to show you. We managed to get ourselves orbit around the moon, and in doing so conducted a bunch of science and a bunch of EVA observations to take a look at some potential landing sites. We didn't quite land on the moon, even though I built a rocket ship that was probably capable of doing it. That's mainly due to my bad flying more than anything else. So we're going to pop in here to the old research division and spend this ton of science. We got a whole bunch of science. And we left some on the table. I have to admit, some of our parts blew up in landing. Landing back on Kerbin wasn't the smoothest ever. And some of the parts that was carrying a bunch of science back kind of went with it. But we still got 298 science. That is enough for us to really get some advanced stuff that will make our moon missions much, much easier. So, the first thing I'm going to do is get fuel systems, which will grant me access to the external fuel duct. This external fuel duct allows for asparagus staging and stuff like that. I still have 208 science. Should I? Oh my goodness, I can get Rockomaxes and really dial up the heavy lifting capacity of my rockets. I'm so tempted. That would leave me with 40 something. What's this do? Oh yeah, solar panels. I want that. I need that more than anything. Alright, we're going to research this for 90 science. The electronics, this gives us solar panels, so I no longer need to worry about our batteries running out during missions. I can transmit back as much information as I want. Let's see if we can't find some other things. This is more scientific-y experiments here. What do we got here? Still more scientific barometer. Alright, we are going to grab with our 118 science. What's this do? FLT 800 fuel tanks. We'll get that. And we are left with 73 science, which we can't spend on anything. Everything is more expensive than that. We were able to unlock 3 nodes, though: advanced rocketry, fuel systems, and electronics, which should give us all the tools we need. If we take a look in the science archives, we can go to our EVA report. In space low. Let's see here. EVA report. Actually, let's do this. EVA report, moon. Moon? Kerbin, moon. Bingo. EVA report. Here are the biomes that we discovered so far. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unique landing locations that we can get science from along the way. We'll just pick one of these based on our first moon landing can be pretty much anywhere. And we'll pop into the Let's Build portion. This might be a separate Let's Build. It might be included in part of the episode. It depends on how long the whole thing runs. But this is going to be Tiger 5. That should be pretty good. Over in the contract center, we still have this contract to explore the moon. So, we land on the moon and transmit or recover science from the moon. We get looks like 37,000 funds just for doing that. So that's probably going to pretty much cover the cost of this mission if we can manage to land that. And of course, completion of these 2 last goals will give us another 105,000 funds. Let's see what other science we have. This one also wants us to get science data from space around the moon. Oh, that's done and done. We want you to send us science data from space around the moon. Yeah, we got that. We'll grab that one for sure. It's another 50,000, whatever. Test. Plant a flag on the moon for Rockomax, worth 109,000. We'll take that mission. Rescue, test. Explore Duna, explore Ike. Okay, so our active missions are explore the moon, get science from around the moon, and plant a flag on the moon for, looks like a total of 100, 200, 240-ish, 300,000 funds if we're able to complete these contracts for the moon. This is a very exciting time for me. Look at this massive rocket. Nice and stout and efficient. Double check my staging. Everything. Okay. Decouple, yes. Decouple, yes. Decouple, yes. That engine, those things, parachute, and decouple. Okay, this is as good as we are going to get. Jebediah Kerman on his solo mission to the moon. We have solar panels and a single battery just in case we end up in the shadow of something for a while. We're ready to launch. I can't believe that we're ready to launch. SAS is activated, throttle at 50%, and we will launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we need more throttle, that's alright. And we are clear of the tower. We'll go to full throttle at just shy of 2 Gs of acceleration. 7 rocket engines all working in tandem. And you can see our fuel consumption is working exactly right. These 2 rockets are emptying out first. Should have put the fuel lines down here. That's kind of making them top heavy. But you know what? Minor problems. Those engines cut off and we dump them. See you later. Thanks for your help. Right now we're just gaining height to get up out of the thicker part of the atmosphere. This stage is spent. We discard it. And we continue on up. 15,000 meters. Let's roll over for our gravity turn. And we've just lost another stage, I can tell by our acceleration. So, goodbye stage. Thank you once again. This stage is hopefully enough to get us into orbit. Looks like it is. We're pushing ourselves up and out slowly. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to go full prograde at this point. This is kind of a shallow, it ended up being a shallow ascent profile, which is fine. Yes, keep pushing that apoapsis straight out. The stage has so much gas left in it because all the other stages were filling up these tanks along the way. We're at 53,000 meters. The atmosphere is more of an afterthought than anything right now. Push this out to 75,000 meters. 71, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are coasting with not quite, almost half a fuel tank left. So that's plenty of juice to get us into orbit. And probably push us towards the moon, or help push us towards the moon. Let's get this centered on that apoapsis correctly. Something about like that. Looks great. It's a 14-second burn, which is absolutely cake for this motor. Okay, now we're in space, so these fins are literally doing no good. I'm working off of the just what little gyroscope is in this thing. Okay, here we are, 30 seconds away from our burn. Final preparations for this burn will go here. Start at 50% throttle at 14 seconds, T-minus 14. 15, throttle up, 14, here we go. Excellent, T-minus 10. Burning off some delta V here. And we're barely using that fuel it all. We have, looks like about 100 seconds worth of fuel or so, maybe 90 seconds. And the camera flipping around and doing funny things means that we are in orbit. And cut off. Main engine cut off. 75 by 74.8. A nice stable orbit around Kerbin once again. So this is our second attempt at landing on the moon. Our first one didn't go so well at all. But that's okay. Try again, as they say. So I'm not going to wait for an ascending node, even though my plane is off. I'm going to just shortcut this. And once again, this is a home and minimal transfer orbit. I'm going to bring this orbit out to here, just kissing that green line. Then we'll haul the green circle back. Nope, not that one. I want the circle. Until we're showing an encounter with Moon. And you can see our plane is actually off by quite a bit, but our plane change is on the way, so we'll just fix it right there. And we're a minute away, which means we're about 30 seconds away from our burn type. Let's get ourselves pointed back at this blue marker. Start our burn at 32. Full throttle. Here we go. And based on my calculations, let's see here. 120 units of fuel. We're going through 5. So we'll need to do a staging before the end of this burn. That's okay. You know, I didn't account for that in my burn time. Oh well. Oh, no, we have plenty. No? Where's this fuel coming from? Oh, there's a little bit right in here. Okay, there it is. Now we're out of fuel. Stage off, and this little guy is going to take care of the rest of us. It shouldn't be an issue. You can see that we just have a little bit more to go. And that is it. We have ourselves a pretty decent moon encounter on the ascending node, which is coming up shortly. We'll do a plane change. There are plane changes set. That was south, which is this way. Now our little ship is super maneuverable. We're just about 20 seconds away from our plane change. We can do this at full throttle at T-minus 11, basically. Just hanging tight until we get there. 20 seconds. Okay, 15. 14, 13, 12, 11, throttle up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are now crossing our maneuver node and adding velocity in the downward direction to change our orbital plane to match up more closely with the moon. And cut off the engines. There we go. Our descending node, we're now basically perfectly aligned. We're coming up on lunar encounter here, so I am going to do this in time acceleration, but I'm going to slow down time acceleration to a point where the simulation will handle it more friendly. And there we go. We are now once again in the moon's sphere of influence. Last time I couldn't really show this. It was hard. Give me a hard time. I want to add a maneuver and sort of go that way. I'm just using this as a point of reference, really. with that maneuver added, pointing the direction that it is, which is essentially this way, this also ensures that I'm pointing the correct direction to make this burn. I can get rid of this. And once again, we're going to thrust perpendicular to our orbit because basically this is basically a straight line right now. So I'm thrusting perpendicular to it to change the angle that this orbit occurs. And it will move me out to move the periapsis out eventually from the center. So this burn is considered radial out. If you want to pick a particular direction that it's actually going. Okay, slight adjustment here. To 20,000 meters above the surface of the moon. Now that we got that done, we can plan our lunar orbital insertion burn. That will be good enough. Let's get facing the blue marker here. And 30, just final corrections here, 27, 26. Full power to the engines. And we can watch as our orbit comes down from an escape trajectory. Into a lunar orbit capture. This is a longer burn because we were using one little engine. We have a fair amount of fuel mass on board, but that's okay. That's exactly what it's for. All that fuel is going to be used for getting us down to a landing. Just a few more seconds here. Make sure I'm still pointing the right direction. Okay, I'll begin throttling down, and the rest of this will be done in very fine detail. That is it. Looking at 19.8 by 20.5, which is plenty good enough for me. And we're here on the dark side of the moon. Somewhere on the light side of the moon, we are going to be coming down for landing. So, right about here. Right about here. No, right here. I want to do this as far away of that spot as possible. I want to land myself in the middle of that crater. So I'm going to do a little bit of plane change. And a little bit of retrograde thrust. Since the moon does rotate underneath us, I'm going to fire this a little bit long. And then we'll add another maneuver here to bring us to a complete stop. So now we know what both of those maneuvers entail. Let's get ourselves set up for landing. Really. A little quick save. All right, we are about 15 seconds away. The sun is coming over the horizon at T minus 5. We go 50% throttle. And this is the burn that brings us down to a landing, basically a ballistic trajectory. There it is. At the lip of this crater, I'll add another maneuver to slow down further. And then right here, my landing burn. God, look at this awesome landscape. I love this game. The visuals are so cool. Now, the visual style of this game is, you know, a little bit simplistic and cartoony, but that's actually adds to the charm. I mean, all these parts aren't horribly detailed, but when you add them together and make your own rocket ship, I mean, you end up with something that looks cool. It looks like this. T minus 19. 50% throttle. More or less. And these containers still have tons and tons and tons of fuel in them. That's how efficient this particular design is when you use asparagus staging. In fact, I could have only used 2 of these canisters and been perfectly fine. Okay. Our next node is about a minute and something away, so let's cycle our landing gear, and I want to get myself to a spot where that's more or less upside down. I'm going to orient my ship so that when I press the keys, my WASD keys, it seems to make some sense to me. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, this isn't... Let me double check this burn here. This is an estimated minute 24 burn, so that means if I don't want to crash into the surface, I should start now. For this one, I'm going straight retrograde. If I go... Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. Auto. C for cockpit? Oh, here we go. This gives us our radar altitude. Lets us know how far above the ground we are. About 1,500 feet above the ground. I need to pitch over, like so. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, we are basically stopped horizontally. So I'm always following the retrograde marker because this is, with respect to the surface, exactly which direction I'm going. If I just sort of super glue myself to this particular marker, I can always be decelerating with respect to the surface and bring myself to a nice smooth landing. I'm talking fast. Things are happening rather quickly right now. Alright. We can come down at a nice, graceful, 3-point-something meters per second. Here's our altitude above the ground. So once again, I'm just going to follow this. And here's our vertical speed. I'm going to stick myself right there. More throttle, more throttle. We're at 200 meters, coming down a little fast. $110 meters down at 6. Let's kill any horizontal velocity I have by aiming my ship around. Okay, 50 meters down at 5. Should be close enough now where I can see what's going on. We're landing on a bit of a slope, but that's okay. Throttle down, throttle down. Coming down at 2. Down at 1.7, down at 1.8, 1.98, soft touchdown, engine cutoff, and we have landed on the moon in 0.24. What a momentous achievement. We were able to manage our funds enough to actually not run out of money by blowing up our rockets over and over again. Whew. Man, I gotta tell you, first contract, actually managing your money makes this game so much more intense. Like, it raises the adrenaline level to level 11. We have a a message coming in. Explore the moon, land on the moon, complete. Let's see what else we have here. Transmit or receive scientific data from the surface of the moon. We're going to do that right now. We'll get this mystery goo observation going. We're going to bring these back, though. We're going to keep that data. All right, we have tons of experiments now. We are going to keep this data. We're going to do a crew report from here and transmit that back. Crew report from the moon's east far side crater. You record your crew's assessment of the situation, and we will send that back, completing 2 contracts in 1 stone. Bingo. Explore the moon. You have successfully explored the moon, earning 105,000 funds and 300 prestige. We've also explored the moon for, I think it was Rockomax, transmit or receiver scientific data from the surface. That's a typo right there. From the surface of the moon. Complete for another 150,000 funds, 30 science, and 30 reputation. Those contracts are done. What else do we have left? We have transmit or receiver scientific data from space around the moon and plant a flag on the moon. All right. Done and done. Well, the transmit from orbit around the moon we'll do in a bit. Our solar panel is facing the sun, so we don't have to worry about our battery power running out ever. At least until the moon rotates around Kerbin and gets to the dark side. Let's go ahead and grab another crew report. That's not worth anything. Reset the experiment. Okay, we did that. We're going to do an EVA. And Jebediah Kerman. Hang on. I got to get over here like this. Plant a flag, Jeb. Jeb was here for all Kerbin kind. We came in pieces. But then we did better and arrived in one piece for peace. No further ado needed. See you later, the moon, and thank you.